December 1900. Far out in the North Atlantic, beyond the coast of Scotland, three lighthouse keepers began what should have been an ordinary shift. Days later, when the relief vessel finally arrived, the lighthouse still stood. But the men had vanished without a trace. This is the mystery of the Flannan Isles Lighthouse. Section 1. Arrival at the edge of the world. Far beyond the rugged coastline of Scotland, where the Atlantic Ocean collides endlessly with towering cliffs, lies a remote chain of islands known as the Flannan Isles. For centuries, these isolated rocks were battered by relentless storms, shrouded in thick sea mist, and surrounded by waters feared by even the most experienced sailors. Standing alone on the largest island, Moor was a lighthouse built to protect ships from one of the most dangerous stretches of coastline in the North Atlantic. Its powerful light became a symbol of safety, watched over by three dedicated lighthouse keepers, whose duty was to ensure the beacon never failed. Life on the island was one of complete isolation. Days were marked only by the crashing of waves, the howl of the wind, and the steady rhythm of the lighthouse lamp. Weeks could pass without seeing another person. The sea was their only connection to the outside world. But in December of 1900, something happened on Moor that would transform this lonely lighthouse into one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. When the relief crew finally arrived, they expected nothing more than a routine shift change. Instead, they found silence. The light still stood above the cliffs, but the men who had tended it had vanished without a trace. Section 2. The relief ship arrives. On the morning of December 26, 1900, the relief vessel Hesperus approached the Flannan Isles to deliver supplies and replace one of the lighthouse keepers. As the ship drew closer, something immediately seemed wrong. The lighthouse stood silent against the cliffs. No signal flag flew from the mast. No keeper waited on the landing platform to greet the arriving crew. This was highly unusual. The lighthouse keepers followed a strict routine, and the arrival of the relief ship was an important event that would never have been ignored. Captain James Harvey ordered the ship's horn to be sounded. The echo rolled across the cliffs, but no one appeared. Again, the horn sounded. Still, nothing. Concern quickly turned into unease. A relief keeper named Joseph Moore volunteered to go ashore. As he climbed the steep stone steps leading to the lighthouse, the island was unnervingly quiet. There were no voices, no footsteps, only the relentless wind and the crashing Atlantic below. He reached the lighthouse door and stepped inside. Section 3. The Silent Lighthouse. Joseph Moore stepped into the lighthouse, expecting to be greeted by the familiar routine of its keepers. Instead, he was met by silence. Inside, the rooms appeared strangely undisturbed. The oil lamps had been cleaned and refilled. The kitchen was orderly. A meal appeared to have been prepared, yet one chair sat pulled away from the table as though someone had left in a hurry. The lighthouse clock had stopped. There were no signs of a struggle, no evidence of violence. Most unsettling of all, not a single lighthouse keeper remained. The three men had vanished without leaving a single explanation. As Moore searched each room, the silence grew heavier. Outside, the Atlantic crashed endlessly against the cliffs. Inside, the lighthouse stood completely empty. Section 4. The Investigation. News of the mysterious disappearance spread quickly across Scotland. Authorities launched an immediate investigation determined to uncover what had happened to the three experienced lighthouse keepers. Inside the lighthouse, investigators found no signs of violence. There was no evidence of a struggle, no blood, no indication that anyone had entered the lighthouse by force. The keeper's logbook, however, raised even more questions. Its final entries described severe storms and unusual behavior among the men. One keeper reportedly wrote that the winds were unlike anything he had ever witnessed. Another noted that one of the men had been unusually quiet. The final recorded entry simply read, "Storm ended. Sea calm. God is over all." After that, the logbook ended. No further messages were ever written. Despite extensive searches of the surrounding cliffs and coastline, the three lighthouse keepers were never seen alive again. More than a century later, the mystery of the Flannan Isles remains unsolved. Thank you for watching. The Hollow Signal brings you documented paranormal cases, unexplained mysteries, true horror stories, and creepy videos that will leave you questioning what is real. If you enjoy this kind of content, consider subscribing and join us for more case files and eerie encounters.